so happy to be here with all of you. We are so looking forward to talking to you today on this beautiful topic. And really the topic is a live Q&A. It's answering your questions as well as what is a really good food to help with your gut health this season, this winter season. It is what we're calling it the best time to heal your gut. It is gut healing season. So we are live. We are excited to answer your questions live today.
People call this flu season, cold season. We think this could be gut healing season,
This
you
is
guys.
gut healing season. Winter is gut healing season.
Yes,
And we'll tell you why.
You just need the right inputs, and we'll tell you how to do that. We recently got over being sick.
Yeah.
And so honestly, it wasn't too bad. We almost welcome it now. We recognize that it's a little system reboot. We got our antibodies for the season and our bodies took it like a champ. And so it's such a good time to work on your gut. This is the time where sugar is so much more rampant. The sun is more elusive. It is cold. We are inside more. So you're more likely to get sick. But it doesn't need to be the season of you just perpetually being sick. I've heard so many of my friends, family members saying, oh, my kids and I just keep passing things back and forth. That shouldn't be the case. Hopefully you're all really working on your microbiome, you're working on your gut, so that way all of you are healthy and you're not passing it back and forth to one another.
So it is a day of lives. If you were just with us on our Instagram, we went live with Type 2 Diabetes Revolution. That was fun. If you're joining us right now, we're answering your questions. If you're live, you can type them down below. We'll get to your questions live. So if it's on SIBO or IBS or like I'm taking this supplement, but also medical disclaimer, this is not medical advice. This is just general recommendations, general questions. If you want to work with us, you can go to marytodd.com. In other announcements, thank you to our sponsor of today's live, Amy's Kitchen. Thank you to Amy's. We are going to be talking about soup, and it's perfect because Amy's has organic soup, whole food, plant-based ingredients. And these are great when you're busy, when you're on the go, when you're trying to figure out life. Sometimes you're like, I just need
to. Or if you are sick.
Or if you're not feeling well, you're like, I need a yummy, delicious soup. We go to Amy's if we're not making our own and using some of our recipes for that. So it's exciting, guys. We are doing a lot right now. There's a lot going on. The holidays are around the corner. So we're excited for that. We're excited for Thanksgiving. We're excited for Christmas. We're excited for family being in town. We have all that going on. We're like that typical family who's doing the family stuff. So we love it. But it's balancing. We have lots of patience. We have a lot to do. We have a lot of projects because we're trying to help you all heal your gut. We're trying to help you all heal with each meal. We're trying to really help everyone find the success Dahlia has found with her IBS and overcoming that I've found overcoming allergies and migraines and obesity and so much when I was younger and sick. So all these things are possible. You can do all these things. It just takes practice. It takes time. And it's great if you have a guide along the way. So this is where we go into winter time, right? Where, like Dahlia was saying, can feel like flu season, or it's really just like lots of sugar and alcohol and maybe travel season as well. That's all going down.
And low vitamin D.
And it really creates this perfect storm. So we want to give you guys tips. We really want to just give you as many tips and as much as possible to kind of help with everything you have going on. So I would start with food and we'll go from there. But really with food, what can you do if there was one type of food, and we kind of give it away with our sponsor here, but really it is soup, right? Like if we can give you one huge recommendation, it would be to eat more soup this winter season. And Dahlia can kind of explain why a little bit, but yeah.
Yes. So I love soup. You guys, I don't think that fall and winter are the only times that we should be eating soup. I think we should eat soup all year long. I'm Arab, so we drink tea and we eat soup all year long. It's not like a seasonal thing for us.
Yeah.
But soup gives you the opportunity to put so many nourishing ingredients in one single bowl. And then you can flavor it up in a delicious broth where someone who might not ordinarily eat that type of diversity and that type of variety, I would say kids for the most part, if kids haven't been really trained to eat a wide variety of plants, soup is a great way to get it in there. You can make the broth taste so good, and they're more likely to eat those potatoes. They're more likely to eat the carrots, the celery, the peas, the corn, whatever it is, whatever whole food, fibrous ingredient that you're adding to the soup, they're so much more open to it when it comes in this yummy little package. So we're such huge fans of eating soup, of making soup. We know our daughter really likes soup as well. She requests several different types of soups, but we like making it all, whether that
Mhm.
is, a traditional Egyptian soup, a jute leaf soup called molachaya. We will make that. I love making chickpea noodle soup that is made with chickpea noodles, adding in things like your celery or carrots, and your chickpeas. And then we love making soups like a broccoli cheddar soup. And instead of the cheese, we are adding nutritional yeast. So soup is huge in our home. We love soup. It's a staple. And I really do believe that you can put so many of these very nourishing fall and winter ingredients into soup that will just nourish your good gut bugs. They love starch. Right now, we have tons of starchy produce that's available to us. So pick up any different color of potato that's in the store. Pick up a root like a radish or a rutabaga or a turnip and throw that into your soup.
Mhm.
Bring some other roots into your soup like carrots or parsnips. You can bring in rhizomes like ginger and turmeric. Bring in all this variety of different soup and enjoy that plant diversity. You can even blend the veggies into the broth. So if you have picky eaters at home, or maybe you had a dental surgery or a procedure where you can't maybe chew the fiber up, or you have little ones who you don't want to choke, blend it into the broth. That makes it so
Mhm.
much more rich, so much more flavorful.
Yeah, and then speaking to more of our patient population, where if you are suffering with gastritis or if you're having IBS or IBD and your stomach is very sensitive, really cooking those plant foods down,
Mhm.
you are kind of pre-breaking down that fiber. You are able to hydrate that food a little bit more and break apart the cell walls of those plants, making it easier to digest. Yes, soup helps make plant foods easier to digest. So if you're in that kind of category where you're like, yeah, I know I should be adding more plant foods, but when I do, when I'm eating that broccoli salad, when I'm eating that kale salad, when I'm eating the raw vegetables, or I'm eating even a bowl of beans, I just like, man, I feel so bloated, or my symptoms basically just get more activated. They are amplified. Then soup is a great way to continue to cook down some of that fiber, to eliminate some of those lectins and oxalates, and really cook them out a little bit. Not saying those are bad. However, if you're experiencing dysbiosis, if you're already having symptoms, less of those would be helpful in the interim while you're building back your gut microbiome, which is totally possible. So, soup is a way to do this, whether you are looking to prevent or you're currently experiencing some gut issues. So,
Mhm.
for a number of those reasons, yeah.
Another reason that we love, love, love soup is because you can add tons of herbs and spices.
Hmm.
So, if you are looking for this to be your gut healing season, utilize that opportunity to put a really wide variety of different herbs and spices. So many of them are not just flavorful, but they're
Hmm.
also antimicrobial. So, if you're
Yes.
dealing with things like fungal overgrowth or candida in your gut, if you're dealing with bacterial overgrowth, even methanogenic overgrowth, herbs and spices can have such a strong role in helping you alleviate that. So,
Hmm.
really, really incorporate that wide variety of herbs and spices, seasonal things, dried things that maybe aren't seasonal right now. Is such a good vehicle for putting all of those different plant medicines and, plant nutrients into one single bowl.
And studies show, guys, herbs and spices are some of the most antioxidant rich foods you can
Mhm.
get. So if you're getting herbs and spices, and we put a lot in soup, right? I know when I make soup, I'm throwing rosemary and thyme and parsley and dill and just all these herbs that I'm not normally sprinkling on my foods.
Curry.
Curry
Sometimes a
is a good
Thai
one.
curry.
Turmeric, and just throwing that in one pot where it's all working synergistically together. I mean, that is great. Like Dahlia mentioned, on top of that, you're getting the antioxidant effect. And really, these phytonutrients and antioxidants are really just prebiotics for your gut microbes to break down, to make postbiotics, to make healthy products from that then further benefit your body. So
Mhm.
another positive of eating soup. Thank you for watching this. We hope you know by now Married to Health really does everything we do coming from a need in our community, a need from our patients, a need from being dietitians for over a decade, from running our own private practice. And we continued that when we formulated Gut Nurture. So if you didn't know, Dahlia Marin, RDN, LD, CGN formulated Gut Nurture along with Complement. We truly believe it is a great complement for your gut health journey. Why is that? Well, it's low histamine, it's low FODMAP, it's organic, even the package is compostable. We really designed it with the patient in mind that is wanting to eat more plants, that needs to eat more plants, but is struggling to eat more plants. This is that bridge. We also designed it for the person who's just like, I want to boost my gut, I want to feel really good, I want to help with the structure, function, and population of the gut. This is unlike anything that's really out there in that as it's focused on being a prebiotic, not really a probiotic. So the idea here, you can think of Gut Nurture as compost for your gut ecosystem. It's not trying to force seeds and the probiotics in, it's trying to create a beautiful environment and a beautiful foundation. So any seeds you get from the fermented foods you're eating, from your environment, from the beautiful habits you're building, whether you're working with us or not, they are going to fall on this beautiful, healthy soil with this beautiful, healthy compost and create a lush, beautiful ecosystem and garden, creating an abundance of fruit and postbiotics that are going to keep you healthy and thriving. So click down below, learn more about Gut Nurture, and we'll continue with the episode.
Someone's asking, what are your favorite herbs and spices to add to soups? Ooh, that really is going to depend on what flavor you're going for. But I love adding a good turmeric, ginger, black pepper. We do know that studies show that those three have such an amazing synergistic effect to decrease inflammation, including inflammation in your gut. And they have such a high antioxidant concentration in them. So if the gut is one of the secondary parts of your immune system, it is the of immune cells in your body. 70-80% of our immune cells are located in the gut in something called the gut associated lymphoid tissue. Then we really want to provide antioxidants and decrease the inflammation in that area. So my favorite are probably turmeric, ginger, black pepper, but we really don't discriminate with spices. If we could show you guys our little spice area in our home,
Tons.
We have tons of different spices, and we really, really enjoy a rich, robust flavor. So we will include any and all spices. I know I mentioned, and somebody mentioned it before, the traditional Egyptian soup, that molokhaya.
Yeah.
We use a lot of cumin and paprika in Mediterranean dishes, especially in Egyptian dishes. So love using those. And you really can't forget about your aromatics. You cannot leave out the onion and garlic when you are making soup. If you struggle with FODMAPs, don't be afraid to use something like asafoetida powder to get that garlic flavor and the antioxidants that's in it. Or you could use a garlic infused oil. So you're still getting that yummy flavor, still getting some of the benefits of that garlic without having the fermentable portions, the high fructan, high FODMAP portion of the garlic that might bother your stomach until you've overcome that hump and you've healed your gut issues so you can eat the widest variety of plant foods possible and enjoy all of them.
And just when you thought the benefits of soup were done, I want to add another one, which a lot of people maybe know about, or it is a no-brainer, which is hydration. So you are getting massive hydration with soup, and winter time. I think a lot of us, I know our daughter especially, sometimes doesn't feel like she needs to hydrate as much, but really, especially in Southern California winter, it can still be very dry and cold, relatively cold. We don't get too cold here, but for us, it's cold and it gets a little dry. So hydration. So soup is extremely hydrating. And for those of you with constipation, those of you with just chronic GI issues, a lot of the time you are not hydrating enough, as we can all get busy, as we can all forget. So it is very important to hydrate. Soup is just naturally hydrating because it's made up of so much water. So you are getting that hydration.
And don't be afraid, guys. Put some broth in your tumbler if you wanted to and sip on that throughout the day. Yes, you can use this for tea, but don't forget that you can also sip on broths, which can be so hydrating and can contain those electrolytes. I know a lot of my patients tell me they don't like using electrolytes because they don't like when their beverages taste salty. If
Mhm.
that's the case, add your electrolytes to your soups because you don't
Yep.
mind a little bit of salt in there. You can add back in that magnesium, that potassium, some of the other electrolytes as well, and enjoy the taste of it. So maybe that's your opportunity to say, all right, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I don't really love the taste of electrolytes.
Yeah.
So I'm more apt to add them to my soup rather than adding them to my yummy tea or my water that I really don't like any flavor in.
And so soup, we're all about just natural ways of doing things. And so soup is really the OG electrolyte liquid. Like that is why soup is there
Yes.
when you're not feeling well. Soup is really going to have, I mean, depending what you're putting in, but let's just say a classic like noodle soup or vegetable soup, you're throwing in the carrots, you're throwing in garlic and onions and celery and potatoes. And so all of those nutrients kind of leach out into the liquid and you're getting those trace minerals, you're getting those electrolytes, you're getting the salt and the magnesium and the calcium, and it's there in this liquid form that you're going to eat or drink or ingest, right? And that is helping you to hydrate and get those electrolytes. So soup is that OG electrolyte liquid that we should all
Hmm.
be consuming. So very
And,
cool.
we've shared before, we prefer to purchase organic ingredients.
No question here. Yeah.
Studies do show that pesticides can irritate the lining of the intestines and
Mhm.
disrupt it and increase intestinal hyperpermeability, aka leaky gut.
Mhm.
Also, studies have been closely associated with different types of hormone positive cancers. So, different types of breast cancer, as well as other hormone positive cancers have been associated with pesticide use. So we choose to eat organic in our home. When
Mhm.
we're purchasing groceries, when we're purchasing food, if it's not something we're eating rarely at a restaurant, we buy organic. And that does include our spices, especially for the fact that they are more concentrated and
Mhm.
more dried. You might not be using a huge amount, but the amount that you are using is very concentrated. So we do opt whenever possible for organic spices.
And for those following us for a while, we've said before, we're not, in no way, shape, or form saying certified organic is perfect. It's,
Mhm.
yes, it's 100% perfect. No, it has a lot of issues, but that certified organic label is also ensuring purity. It is that quality because there's a lot of impurities that can happen with spices.
Mhm.
Someone saying, I love going to the international stores and finding spices, but most of the time they don't seem to have organic. Yes, and be careful. We love going to the Arab markets or the Indian markets, and you'll find great deals on spices. You'll get sometimes 10 times the amount or the quantity of spice, right? Like I remember if you go to Whole Foods and buy certified organic dill,
Mm.
it's like in this small little glass jar. You go to like an Arab market or Indian store, and it's like a big plastic bag full of dill, right? However, what can happen is the quality and the impurities can be off the charts. I know with Mexican sources of herbs and spices at some of the Mexican markets, high levels of mercury were found in some herbs and spices. So, again, certified organic, you don't have to do it all the time, but with the certified organic label, you are ensuring some of that quality and lack of impurities, which is important. So it's really just, especially when I'm thinking of any moms cooking for their children or their babies. So it's important to understand you want that quality and that purity. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, they're saying eat. Yes, they have huge packages, but it's kind of scary. Yeah, I mean, you do. You want to kind of take it with the context, right? You want to understand. Okay, yeah, I'm getting this deal, but what am I actually getting? If you want to take it a step further, you can look up online if there's been any results of testing of impurities, if there's been any recalls on some of those brands, because even though it's in like an ethnic market, you can still look up the brand. The brand still has to adhere to a
USDA
USDA
standards.
standard. So
Mhm.
if there are any recalls, if there is some craziness going on, they have to post and share about it. So you can do that.
Mhm.
Um,
And do your best. Honestly, if where you
yeah,
live, it's just not realistic for you to purchase organic, you will still retain many more benefits from just eating the produce, using the spices, than forgoing them because they aren't organic. So when we're
right.
thinking of good, better, best, great. If best is seasonal, local, organic, and that's
Mhm.
attainable for you, go for that. If it's not, it's still better to just include them, even if they aren't certified organic. If they're non-GMO or they're conventional, you can rinse off your produce in baking soda, and that can remove some of the pesticide residue. So still eat the things. We never want to deter you all from eating produce, but we always want to inform you on what your best options are if they're available to you.
So I'm seeing another question on soup, and then another question kind of going another way. So let's go with this one here. So what are some main vegetables we should be using in our soup? So I would say from the get-go, when you're cooking soup, there is a hierarchy and an order. You don't want to completely turn your vegetables into mush, and then it looks like a gray-brown mush, and you've completely boiled out all the nutrients of the vegetables. So, when it comes to root vegetables, they are perfect for soups because they tend to be on the crunchier and harder side, right? So things like potatoes and carrots and any of these root vegetables that are growing underground, these tubers and roots are excellent. And then if you are adding any greens, we do love to add greens to our soups, but that's right at the end. You don't need a long cooking time for greens if you're adding kale or spinach or other greens. Really, it's when your soup's done and you're like, okay, guys, soup's ready. You're maybe chopping up some greens and throwing them in. So they just get mixed in a nice light cook and they're ready to go. So there is an order of operations of how you're adding your veggies.
And I love making soup in the Instant Pot. I just find it's quicker, it's easier. You throw everything in. So like James was saying, I never add things that you want to retain a lot of their vitamin C if I am cooking it in the Instant Pot. So the greens I won't put in. I'll keep things like tomatoes to the end. I mainly am adding in legumes, grains, and those root vegetables when I am putting them in my Instant Pot. I'm letting that cook, usually just for a few minutes. Honestly, I put it on like 3 to 4 minutes if I'm using high pressure. And then at the end, I'm just stirring in whatever else I don't want to cook that deeply. You are still going to retain the great benefits of the starches when you are even cooking those in an Instant Pot. But some things, again, you don't want to boil to death. You don't want to cook to death. So you want to retain some of those other ingredients to the very end and then add them back in at that time. Hey, Stacy. Stacy's saying, "What's up, guys?" And we're talking soup. So I know Stacy loves her a
soup,
good soup
winter,
too.
gut healing, answering your questions. We love it all. Do you see another question there? Or I see a question here
go
too.
ahead to that one.
So here's kind of off the topic a little bit, but still on the topic. Oh, okay.
Hold on, sorry. Let's answer one more soup question. Is there a soup that helps to go poo easier? Asking for my grandbaby, 15 months old.
Ooh,
this
good
is
question.
a good question. So if that baby's constipated, you first want to identify what is constipating them. So are they on formula? Are they reacting to something in their formula? If they're breastfed, is mom eating something maybe that is constipating to baby? You want to try to remove some of the top allergens. Start with dairy. Dairy's always first to go to be removed, but you want to make sure that baby's not reacting to anything else like shellfish or tree nuts, peanuts, soy, wheat. Just try to eliminate some of those for a couple weeks, see if that alleviates the constipation. By 15 months, you can be offering additional hydration on top of breastfeeding, hopefully, or formula if they're formula fed. So offer just additional hydration, but really any vegetables that you are adding are going to be great for constipation because if they are non-starchy vegetables, they're higher in that insoluble broom type of fiber that's going to kind of sweep the bowel movement through. If you are using starchy vegetables, they are higher in soluble fiber as well. So they're going to act like a mop and really hydrate that baby's stool. So maybe you're adding things like potatoes and corn, and you're adding in some of those other starchy roots. You're adding in peas, whole grains, beans. Super, super good for hydrating stool and getting things moving, both for adults and for babies.
We used to say Layla was made out of beans because she loved beans. That was one of, around. I remember her first food was maybe avocado, and sweet potato, and very soon we started with very soft chickpeas and just pinto beans, black beans. She loved all beans as a toddler and would just gobble them up, and still does. So beans are excellent if your kids are struggling with constipation.
Food for poop.
Food for poop. And then kind of going then further, someone's saying. You want to click it there?
I just had a colonoscopy and endoscopy. Doctor came back acid in the stomach. I am whole food, plant-based, no SOS, part of the Mastering Diabetes coaching, still have lots of diarrhea. Doctor has made me on Prilosec and
Has
fiber
me
pills.
on.
Doctor has me on fiber pills and Prilosec. How do I reach out if I'm in Arizona? Yeah, just reach out to us. Go to our website, marriedtohealth.com. You can sign up with our practice and we can get you some specialized help. It's good that you have acid in your stomach. You do need stomach acid, but if you have erosive gastritis and the acid has worn down the lining of your stomach, you want to figure out why. Do you have some type of bacterial overgrowth? Are you constipated, bloated? Is that causing the acid to kind of back up into your, or is that causing the acid pumps to reduce function? That can cause some issues. So yeah, connect with us on our website, marriedtohealth.com. It sounds like you need some personalized advice and you're looking for it. So if you're in Arizona, we can definitely support you.
Seen some. What's up, Jacob? I see you saying hi. What's up, man? So I love it. I love being live. And again, if you're watching this later, comment down below with any of your questions. But these have been excellent questions. We're really excited. So continuing on, soup can also be fun to make with kids as another benefit, which a lot of people don't think about. I know we had some questions on like constipation for kids. I'm sure there's a lot of you with picky eaters out there. We get that a lot as well. My kids are picky, or how does Layla eat so many vegetables and fruits and nuts and seeds and beans and peas and all these things, right? How does she eat so much of that? It's because we introduced her to that early on. It's always in our home. It's always in our kitchen. We are making lots of soups with
She's
this.
had her hands on them.
She's had her hands on them, right? And so a soup is really easy, especially like Dahlia was saying, like in an instant pot or a slow cooker. We were just adding the ingredients and setting it and then kind of forgetting about it. It's really easy to get the 2-year-olds involved, the 3-year-olds, the 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, and beyond, where you're just having them hand you ingredients, you're having them prep the ingredients, you're having them pour the ingredients. So these are very simple things. But when we're talking about gut health a little bit further, really the benefit of preparing food is also preparing your body to digest. Thank you so much for watching this video. We know you're probably getting quite a bit from it. It can be a lot of information, it can be overwhelming, and we totally get that. Dahlia was there not too long ago suffering with IBS and SIBO-like symptoms. She was hunched over very often, bloating, gas, constipation, diarrhea, skin issues, hormonal issues, the list goes on and on. So we know this. We've been in practice now as registered dietitians for over a decade, and we created our Good Gut SIBO IBS program for you. If you're experiencing IBS, SIBO symptoms, IMO, SIFO, the list goes on and on. If you're like, I'm not really sure what this is, click down below. We have a free assessment for you, and that'll likely lead you to our Good Gut SIBO IBS program, which is chock full of information we wish we had. It's information that we're giving to our patients, so it's all at your fingertips in one package. It's 7+ hours of video. It is dozens and dozens of handouts. It's tailored meal plans and recipes to truly help you get to the root, to truly help you understand what's going on so you can truly heal with each meal. Check it out down below. So when you are chopping, when you're cutting, when you're seeing the food, when you're smelling the garlic and onion, even before you're eating,
hearing it, engaging any of your senses,
you are helping your body prepare to digest that food. You are preparing your enzymes, you're preparing your bowels, you're preparing your pancreas.
Stomach acid, absolutely. Your gallbladder. It's called the cephalic phase. And 30% of your digestion happens in that phase before you even start eating. So absolutely preparing your own soup, or even if you're preparing something quick and convenient like this, you can still take that time to be engaged with it. Smell it, listen to the way that it sounds. As you're pouring it in, you're seeing the way that it looks. Maybe you're chopping up additional veggies that you're adding. We love adding additional veggies to these, whether they're fresh or they're frozen.
Especially like dark leafy greens, especially if it's a store-bought soup. So yeah, we're not discriminating whether you're making your soup at home or getting a store-bought soup. You can still add, you can still prep, and you can still have that cephalic phase be a very active phase in your digestion, in your eating, in your meal prep. So yes.
And you guys, if you did check out our live earlier with Jose from Type 2 Diabetes Revolution, we were talking about something that we recommend to our patients, and they recommend it as well. So they recommend checking out the carb to fiber ratio. So many people are afraid of carbs still. We haven't put that to rest
Carbs are
just
good.
yet.
Carbs are
Eat your
good.
carbs. But we always suggest looking at how many carbs there are in relation to how many grams of fiber there are per serving. That's what really matters. It doesn't really matter how many grams of carbs you're eating. It's the quality of those carbs. We always recommend that you divide total carbs by total fiber. And we talked about this in the last live if you want to learn more about it. And that number should be 5 or less, meaning 20 or more percent of the carbs are coming from fiber. And these Amy soups are pretty on point. This one per 1 cup serving, or actually a serving size is 1 can. There are 18 grams or 30 grams, sorry, of carbohydrate per can, 5 grams of fiber. So if you divide that, that gives you a 6. So you're right there, right around like 24%, 23%. So that's, or no, I'm sorry, that's like 18%. So that's pretty good. And again, if you add a little bit of additional veggies to it, you're adding a little bit more fiber. This is a pretty good carb to fiber ratio.
This one has it right on point. The lentils never disappoint. And so this one is total carbs is 41 grams for the entire can. And then it has 8 grams of fiber. So that puts it pretty much perfectly on a 5. So 5 or below, you're getting a great carb to fiber ratio.
Of this can is fiber.
That's why, guys, we love, I know it's like we're not pushing products or anything. It's more of like we love when we can find products in the store, because 90% of our patients, yes, love cooking and we love cooking, but 90+% of our patients are busy. Your parents, your grandparents, you work, you go to school, like you can't cook every single meal every single day. We get that. So part of our job, what we like to do is curate great products that we can show you and go, buy this. Like we buy this. Like we're not cooking every single meal of every single day. I mean, great to some of you that do that. That is wonderful. But every now and then you need to find a company that still uses real food products, that cares about a BPA-free can and is really conscious about all these ingredients and steps along the way. And then you're still getting a great carb to fiber ratio on top of that. And it's win-win.
And someone's asking, what are the sodium content of these soups? So the regular soups that aren't low sodium, so these two here, the tortilla and this curry potato lentil, these have almost 50% of your sodium for the day. But this is quite a large amount of food. Honestly, this doesn't bother me, especially considering not a lot of us get a ton of sodium in breakfast. And then if you're getting the rest for another meal, great. The low sodium soups have about a quarter of your sodium for the day. So if that's something that you all are mindful of, maybe you're opting for low sodium, but there's so much more to that sodium story.
If I could just comment on the sodium story.
I'm not a huge fan of low sodium.
Just really quick, guys, we don't have so much of a sodium problem in the story. And I know we were early on in our undergrad and dietetics, it was sodium, and sodium's bad for blood pressure. And we were taught that, and that was drilled in our head. It was kind of unlearning that and really getting the proper context. Really what's happening in our country, guys, this is what's happening. We have a potassium deficiency. We have a fiber and magnesium deficiency. So when you're off with your potassium, magnesium, and your fiber, it is much easier to then be imbalanced with your sodium. And it's a lot easier for Americans, especially, or anyone in a first world country, to eat a lot of sodium. It is a little more difficult, or I should say much more difficult for some, to eat enough magnesium and potassium. But really, guess what? If you're eating plant foods, you're going to eat more than enough magnesium and potassium, and therefore you could technically add more sodium, and it's going to help balance and offset that sodium.
So instead of focusing on decreasing sodium, focus on increasing your plant foods. You're getting more magnesium, potassium. And they will balance one another out. Yes.
And they're going to balance. So I don't want to say we don't care, but aren't too concerned about sodium. That's pretty low on our list of concerns. Our concern is making sure we're eating enough diversity, colorful foods, as well as fiber, and that's going to take care of any of the sodium we do add, especially if you're active. So our daughter is extremely active. We actually want her to have more sodium and obviously more potassium, magnesium, to have those electrolytes. She also eats more than even sometimes Dahlia and I, because of how active she is and how much she's growing.
And we're very active.
And we're very active.
We don't mind the sodium.
Yeah, we embrace the sodium. So yeah.
Someone said, love this example on sodium. Everything leads back to to the plants.
Yes,
It
love it.
definitely does. It all should. If more of us were led to the plants, we'd have a lot fewer problems and a lot less things that we are thinking about. So if you're somebody who's caught up worrying about carbs and sodium and all these things, ask yourself, instead of trying to limit all these other ingredients, raise your fiber and raise your plants, and that will take care of, you may have 99 problems, but hopefully plants aren't one. So if soups are a great way for you to get in fiber, especially in the summer, we know a lot of you are really good at getting in summer fruits, and you're really good at getting in some of those things during summer, but don't skimp on the fiber during fall and during winter. We heavily feel that if more of us ate more fiber, we would get sick a lot less often. And if we did get sick, it wouldn't be that serious. It wouldn't be something that's going to take you down. I've said we did get sick, right? We went to Paris for 2 days. We didn't sleep very much. And
we're going hard, guys.
We were going hard. And on the way back home, everyone was coughing and sneezing in the plane. So we did pick something up. But guess what? We were only down for the count for like a day and a half. And then we're back to living our lives. Layla didn't even get it. She's indestructible, that kid. Seriously. So we're so grateful for that. And honestly, I will attribute that to breastfeeding her and feeding her plants. I think that's where it's at. So if you want to heal your gut this season, eat your plants, stay hydrated, make sure you're getting in your electrolytes, including sodium, and
cook with the fam.
Get in vitamin D. Don't forget about vitamin D. The sun's not out. And even when it is, we're all covered up. So please, please, please take your vitamin D in this time. And this can be such a gut healing season for you.
And so soup takes care of 99% of that. So if you can eat soups, if you remember nothing else in this live, eat soup. If you guys want some of our soup recipes, go to marytalk.com, go click on shop, and you'll get our Good Gut shopping guide, but also our Good Gut holidays.
It has a pumpkin soup that's so extremely easy. There's curry in there. It's such a yummy, like very low ingredient soup. Anyone can make it. Our daughter has made that soup before. So if you want some easy soup recipes, definitely check out our blog.
And if you're like, I don't cook and I don't want your e-guide, then just go get Amy's curry soup and you have curry soup there. There you go.
I'll do it. And you can find them anywhere. Honestly, Amy's is at pretty much any store that you can shop at. And right now, you guys, we just wrapped up our giveaway.
Yes, we're announcing a winner. You just missed it, but it's okay for those. That's why you should go to marytalk.com, get on our email list, or click down below.
Follow Amy's, because they weren't just doing soup giveaways with us. They're doing a bunch of soup giveaways right now. So if you guys missed our soup giveaway train, follow Amy's, check out Amy's, and try to join one of their other soup giveaways, because they're giving away some of their yummy plant-based organic soups.
All right, guys. Well, this was a nice little Good Gut Live. I hope you all eat soup. I hope you all have a wonderful winter. I hope you all understand the gut healing potential you all have with soup and with your food, with your lifestyle, with your family. We love answering your questions.
Maybe make your family some soup on Thanksgiving and help them all get in some of that gut healing. So check out our resources, check out our Good Gut holidays, and connect with us on all of our platforms. You guys can find us everywhere and anywhere at Married to Health, including our website, marriedtohealth.com. You can learn more about our dietitians. You could read our free blogs, download our free e-guides and resources, and hopefully that will help you continue to heal with each meal.
Until next time, everybody, see you on our next Good Gut Live or our dietitian talk, and we'll see you later. Bye, everybody.
Bye.